when the meme came out with Brian Chesky about founder mode, I was like, fuck yeah. I was like, that's what I believe in. Like, that's my whole career. And I just thought, that's why you're doing this, is so you can bet on yourself. Like, in some way, every one of you sitting here has probably been what I call an expert witness, and that's why you're sitting here today. Because an expert witness is what we are when we're working for other people, when we feel like we're closest to the answer and closest to the data and furthest from the decision, and we're frustrated because, like, if they would just listen to me, we'd be more successful, but they're not. And so eventually you're like, fuck that, I'm just gonna go bet on myself. And one way or another, you're here because you're betting on yourself. I would just encourage you to keep doing that. Don't be stupid. Like, your commitment to winning and intellectual honesty should be even bigger than your level of betting on yourself. But don't go against your instincts. If you've earned the right to fail, like you should, have a really, really wide, huge noose. Like, and if you want to hang yourself in it, do it. All I'm saying is, I like to say, if you're building a company, build a house you want to live in. Don't make so many compromises that you can't recognize the house anymore, but you did it in the name of getting to the next level, of getting funding, or turning yourself inside out because you want to get that CTO, and they need this title or this. There's all kinds of weird stuff we have to navigate, and you make all these compromises, and then you're like, well, I guess it's not the company for me, but look, the right thing is to go hire a CEO or go do whatever. I would just say, don't do that. Like be selfish towards, like, what's the house you want to live in, what's the company you want to be at. And a lot of people will opt out of that, and then some will opt in, and those are your people. Like, the people who are like, fuck yeah, I want to be in a weird-ass company like you're making that never meets in person because you're so socially awkward you don't want to have a meeting. I am too, right? Like, great, that's your company, that's your culture. And I just say, and if you think you're the best at doing something, then do everything. Like, don't worry about demotivating people. Like, worry about winning first. And don't try to pretend to be a manager, or don't ever learn to delegate. Like, and this is all kind of more in fashion now, but I've been saying this and doing this my whole career. But yeah, I like to say that management is getting people to do the right thing when you're not in the room. That's all it is. You don't have to get an MBA. You don't have to go work at a company that's known for management. It's over. Like, that's all it is. As you scale past yourself and your ability to do every job, and maybe with AI maybe you won't ever have to, but at some point maybe you'll have to have a bunch more people, and then you're trying to figure out, how do I get them to do the right thing when I'm not in the room? First, be in the room all you can, and then when you run out of that, then you need to come up with some ideas to get them to do the right thing.
So most founders here are, it's really a 1 or 2 person teams. How would you recommend that they find and convince the first couple employees to join their teams?
It's so hard, and take this or leave this, but I've also talked about what I started calling my book the talent myth. That I know we get told, like, the first 10 employees or the first 30 employees are crucially important and every one of them should be amazing. I didn't take that approach with Zynga because I didn't have time. So I didn't have time in the beginning to go, and they wouldn't join anyway. I didn't have time, and the people with great resumes weren't returning my emails or calls. And so I got what I call broken resumes. And it turns out there's tons of broken resumes available to you all the time. So broken resumes are people who might have touched greatness, or they might have done whatever, but then they went in there's something about their resume that makes them not able to go start their own company or get a job at Meta or whatever. Maybe they're right out of college, they've never worked anywhere. Or maybe they took some bizarre path and spent 5 years in the Peace Corps. But there's tons of these people, right, that maybe they're self-taught on Claude Code, but they don't know real code. But I just brought in people like that. And this is also kind of terrible, but it worked. I used hiring as an interview process. I just hired anyone who would come work for us, and I just kept the ones who seemed to stick. So I would hire them as contractors. I didn't care. You want to be full-time? So I just hired. Like, you know PHP, you're hired. Go, there's your desk. Here's a wood table. Turn it on, do something. And because we had such a need, we were growing so fast, and I just said, and I'm not good at interviewing anyway. So I'm like, I don't know that there's any correlation between who I like in an interview and who's going to do well. Definitely not coding. And so I was like, I might as well just hire all these people. And the ones I would least expect it didn't just end up being great at coding, but I got all these people who just had instincts around games and consumers. And just through PHP contractors, I got some people who ended up running studios. There was this kid, Justin Waldron. I found him. Here's another great thing. Fish through failed apps or whatever it is you're doing. Go find all the failed versions, like the ones that have no users, no downloads, and you can message them and they will message you right back, right? Because they can't believe that someone found their failed app, and they love hearing from you. And I just did that all the time. I looked at failed Facebook apps, and I was like, this is good Flash. And I would email them, and that's how I found this 18-year-old kid, Justin Waldron, who had a failed Flash app. And I think I started giving him $50 an hour to work on our poker game, and he was living on his mom's couch. And he was a game prodigy. He loved games, he was self-taught all this stuff, and he was 18, and I had to sit down and meet with his mom and say, I'll find him an apartment. And actually had him move in with a 35-year-old gay man, which was really funny. I had them both have dinner with his mom. And it was great. And he ended up he's a really successful game founder now. But anyway. It's
like if you're competing with like OpenAI or Meta, you already lost. It's like the undiscovered talent. What you're describing,
but hiding in plain sight.
But
I mean, I'm not giving you anything like that I did that was like so ingenious. I was just desperate, and I was like, what am I going to do? Like, no one from EA will return my message, and if they do, it's for something wrong. Like, there's probably it's like a bad signal.
You've been both a founder and an investor. It sounds like you like being a founder a lot more. But when you are investing in early stage teams, what do you look for?
Well, I'd say I'm looking for signal on a bunch. I mean, the best resume for a team is a successful app, I really like to see signs of product market fit, servers that are full and you just need servers to expand. That's a good sign. But also, if I really like, if it's a consumer product and I get it and like it, or they've made something in the past that I'm impressed with, and then I'm just looking for like a scrappiness, an intellectual honesty, a level of clock rate of productivity, and I'm trying to think of in the investments I've made this year, and there's the macro has to work too. So it doesn't matter who you are, like it doesn't matter, like the world doesn't care about my past success. I have the same chance as you when I'm making something. It's a very brutally level playing field and efficient market. And so the macro side, you have to be in the right body of water and the right time. And so like right now, consumer is really brutal. I think there was a discussion with Y Combinator about how few consumer companies they have. So I'm not going to back you in your hope bet. So if it's just build it and they will come, even though the macro's broken, I'm maybe overly cynical about that.